Xiao Yan crafted an 8th-grade pill for his daughter Xiao Xiao, and then held a wedding ceremony with Kailin. Continuing from the previous chapter, Xiao Yan saw the colorful radiance of Xiao Xiao and looked at Kailin in surprise, asking, 7-colored heavenly swallowing python? Yes, actually the 7-colored heavenly swallowing python has not been completely dominated by me. Its soul has been reborn again through the body of little Xiao Xiao, and as a reward, its power can be fully utilized by her. That is to say, little Xiao Xiao can possess the strength of a Dozong strongman from the moment of birth, Kailin explained softly. Upon hearing this, Xiao Yan nodded. Although the 7-colored heavenly swallowing python has unlimited potential, it is, after all, borrowed power. My daughter cannot rely solely on others. Xiao Xiao is now in the most pliable and moldable period of her body. Although we cannot force growth, I can provide her with the most perfect cultivation conditions. Seeing the passion in Xiao Yan's eyes as he looked at Xiao Xiao, a touch of softness appeared on Kailin's cheeks. Xiao Xiao's conditions are very good now. The heavenly soul bloodbone pill you sent back then has shaped a good physique for her, and it even took effect before she was born, Kailin said with a smile. Mentioning this matter, she couldn't help but take an extra glance at Xiao Yan. Back then, she made up her mind that if Xiao Yan dared to forget their agreement about the pill, she would never have any contact with him again. Fortunately, Xiao Yan always kept this matter in mind, and specially asked Xiao Li to send the pill back when he left the Black Corner domain. Although the heavenly soul bloodbone pill is not bad, it is not enough. Xiao Yan shook his head and said, your Snakeman clan may not have encountered a true alchemist master, so there are only a few third-class secret methods. The heavenly soul bloodbone pill can only be considered a low-level 7th-grade pill, which has a certain foundation-building effect, but it is far from perfect. Before Xiao Yan finished speaking, someone suddenly said on the side, although the heavenly soul bloodbone pill is not bad, there are more powerful pills, such as the mysterious Bodhi foundation-building pill. This kind of pill is a peak 7th-grade pill, very suitable for Xiao Xiao. But even if I refine it, the success rate is only 40%. If you want to refine it, I'm afraid only the alliance leader can do it. Hearing this, Xiao Yan's gaze followed the sound, and he couldn't help but smile. Master Gu He, long time no see. The person who spoke out is naturally Master Gu He, the Pill King of the In Jia Ma Empire back then, and now the head of the Pill Hall of the Yin Alliance. Behind him stood several old men in alchemist robes, and Xiao Yan felt a little strange about them, thinking they must have joined the Yin Alliance after he left. The Alliance leader has been away for several years, really free and easy, Gu He said with a faint smile, bowing his hands to Xiao Yan. Master Gu He is now the leading alchemy master on the northwestern mainland. Under his management and development, the Pill Hall has become quite powerful, and the Yin Alliance owes a lot to the Pill Hall for its rapid development. The several elders behind him are the elders of the Pill Hall, all of whom are 6th-grade alchemists and the mainstays of the Pill Hall. Kailin said in a low voice, the position of the Pill Hall in the Yin Alliance is very important, which has led to some high-level people becoming arrogant about their status, and even some people think that there would be no Yin Alliance without the Pill Hall. I am not an alchemist, so I may not be as prestigious in the hearts of these people as Gu He. Hearing this, Xiao Yan smiled faintly. The highest level of the Yin Alliance, including Kailin, Xiao Ding, and Xiao Li, are not alchemists, and naturally cannot be convinced by alchemists. Gu He is upright, but he obviously does not have the ability to control the subordinates, which has led to the arrogance of the Pill Hall. It seems that the Yin Alliance is not as united as we thought, and this arrogance cannot be allowed to develop, otherwise it will become a cancer for the Yin Alliance. Xiao Yan glanced at Gu He and several elders of the Pill Hall, and said with a smile, although the mysterious Bodhi Foundation building pill is not bad, it is not the best choice. I don't know if Master Gu He has heard of a pill called the Primordial Pill? When the words Primordial Pill were heard, the faces of Gu He and the several elders of the Pill Hall changed, and they exclaimed in surprise, the 8th-grade pill Primordial Pill? The Alliance leader can already refine 8th-grade pills. Gu He looked at Xiao Yan in amazement and said, these elders of the Pill Hall are also shocked to look at him. Gu He has been able to refine high-level 7th-grade pills, and has been hailed as one of the top alchemy masters on the northwestern mainland. Although they have heard some of Xiao Yan's deeds, They always thought that Gu He is the #1 alchemist in the Yin Alliance. The 8-grade pills are distinguished by the color of the pill thunder, and the primordial pill should attract a 5-colored pill thunder. Master Gu He, tomorrow call all the alchemists of the pill hall. I will refine the pills in public, and everyone must be present, and those who are not will be immediately expelled from the Yin Alliance. Xiao Yan looked at Gu He and said solemnly, when I left, I gave the pill hall more power and convenience than other departments, but so far there are only 5 7-grade alchemists, and this efficiency is not good. Hearing Xiao Yan's sudden stern voice, Gu He was also slightly shocked, and he understood, and immediately understood that Xiao Yan might be going to reorganize the pill hall. Several elders of the pill hall looked at each other and felt that things were not good. In these years, even Kailin did not speak to Gu He like this. But now the alliance leader is back and is going to take direct action against the most important pill hall. If the alliance leader says so, I will go back first to call the people of the pill hall. Gu He sighed helplessly, and then bowed with a few elders of the pill hall and left. He understood that once this news spread, there would definitely be some turmoil within the pill hall. Is this appropriate? It may cause some dissatisfaction among some alchemists, Kailin said with some concern. Dissatisfaction is just from some unremarkable alchemists. You take them too seriously. These level of alchemists, if placed in central plains, can only barely make a living, and they can be recruited again, Xiao Yan said lightly. He has now established a spatial wormhole between the Star Meteor Pavilion and the Yin Alliance, and as for alchemists, he can directly invite them from central plains. With his and Yao Lao's reputation in the alchemy circle of central plains, whether it is these unremarkable alchemists or 7-grade alchemy masters, they will flock to come. And their quality is much better than these people. I just plan to refine the pill for Xiao Xiao, and I will refine it in the pill hall tomorrow to play a deterrent role. Xiao Yan patted the little Xiao Xiao in his arms and said in a deep voice. Kailin said softly, there are still some elders in the pill hall who have not shown up. Those guys are the real problem. Among them, there are 2 7-grade alchemists who join later, named Lu Chong and Wu Zhen. These 2 are extremely arrogant, and according to the information I have received, they seem to be secretly selling the pills of the pill hall, but without evidence, I can't do anything. A faint sound came out of Xiao Yan's nose, and a cold light flashed in his dark eyes. There are many people in the pill hall here, especially after the outbreak of the war. Now 80% of the people in the pill hall are in the branch hall of the fortress. Since Gu He brought back Xiao Yan's words, it naturally caused a considerable commotion. The next day, when the morning light poured into the Xianhuang fortress, the pill hall also became noisy. Many alchemists who received the order got up early and then rushed to the alchemy square. At this moment, the high-level people of the pill hall, such as Gu He and Fa Ma, are already waiting here. The 7-grade alchemists thought they could do whatever they wanted, and when they learned that Xiao Yan dared to deal with them, Lu Chong and Wu Zhen's faces suddenly turned pale. Gu He looked at the hundreds of alchemists in the square and frowned. Because he did not see Lu Chong and Wu Zhen, these 2 guys really don't know death. Gu He said coldly, and his face also became indifferent. These 2 old guys are really too much, relying on themselves as 7-grade alchemists. No wonder residential to deal with them. When Gu He cursed in his heart, he suddenly moved in his heart, looked up and found a few figures coming from the sky, and finally fell in the air in front of everyone. The leader was Xiao Yan. Everyone said, "Greet the alliance leader." Xiao Yan's gaze swept over the bottom and nodded slightly. Compared with before, the scale of the pill hall has indeed expanded a lot. He appeared on a towering alchemy stone platform in the square and said lightly, "Today I will refine an 8-grade pill. Everyone should observe as much as possible, which is also endless for you. Benefit." Hearing this, many people were shocked. Although they had heard about it earlier, they were still shocked to hear Xiao Yan refining an 8-grade pill with their own ears. In the entire northwest mainland, the people who can refine this quality of pills are probably few and far between. After the words fell, Xiao Yan sat cross-legged on the stone platform, waved his hand, and the medicine cauldron hung in the air. A variety of herbs full of powerful energy revolved around him. He almost missed the alliance leader refining the pill. At this time, a laugh suddenly came out, followed by 2 old figures leading dozens of people walking into the square quickly. One of the old men in gray clothes saluted to Xiao Yan on the high platform and said with a smile. Xiao Yan stared at these people. His gaze slowly swept over them. After a while, he smiled and said, "Since you are here, please sit down first." When he heard Xiao Yan's light voice, Lu Chong and Wu Zhen slightly jumped at the corner of their eyes, feeling that this very young alliance leader was not as easy to deal with as they thought. The two looked at each other, faintly feeling uneasy. Then Xiao Yan took back his gaze, bent his fingers, and the dark purple-brown flame roared into the medicine cauldron, and then nearly 100 kinds of herbs also rushed in continuously. The entire refining process was smooth, without any stagnation. As the herbs rushed into the flame, a vast spiritual force spread out with Xiao Yan as the center. Such a terrifying soul pressure. Gu He exhaled a long breath and murmured. The primordial pill, known as a pill that can attract the five-colored pill thunder, is not too difficult for the current Xiao Yan. Therefore, although the refining process is quite cumbersome, it is carried out smoothly in Xiao Yan's hands. In this quiet atmosphere, nearly 3 days passed quietly. More and more alchemists attracted by Xiao Yan's refining came, and some alchemists who were not originally in the pill hall but stayed in the Xinhuang fortress also came, eventually leading to a sea of people around the pill hall, with the sky and the ground full of people. As the movement here became bigger and bigger, later some non-alchemists also came. On the 8th day, when Xiao Yan was immersed in refining, a low rumble came from the cloudless sky, and Xiao Yan, who had been sitting on the stone platform with his eyes closed for several days, slowly opened his eyes. The moment he opened his eyes, the thunderclouds in the sky seemed to be attracted by some kind of force, and the thunderclouds rolled and gradually became more and more gorgeous. In less than 2 minutes, the dark thunderclouds turned into colorful thunderclouds in the shocked eyes of everyone. Is this the legendary colored pill thunder? Looking at the colorful thunderclouds in the sky, all the alchemists present showed a devout and fanatical look on their faces. Many alchemists in their lifetime cannot attract this kind of pill thunder. The thunderclouds in the sky rolled, and suddenly a violent thunderstorm came. Then a huge 5-colored pill thunder suddenly rushed to Xiao Yan below. With a flick of his finger, a dark golden figure quickly rushed out and collided fiercely with the pill thunder. The seemingly fierce pill thunder disappeared in an instant, which shocked everyone. They observed carefully and found that the figure was a puppet with no expression and empty eyes, which was Xiao Yan's celestial demon puppet. This crazy thunderstorm lasted for nearly 10 minutes, and then gradually weakened. The terrible thunderclouds also gradually dissipated in the horrified eyes of the people. Seeing the pill thunder dissipate, Xiao Yan flicked his finger, and the lid of the cauldron opened automatically. A rainbow shot out like lightning, trying to escape but was caught by Xiao Yan, and then thrown into the storage ring. The alliance leader is mighty. Seeing Xiao Yan refine the pill successfully, the surrounding immediately resounded with deafening cheers. Many alchemists blushed and watched him fanatically. This was the first time they saw an alchemist of this level. For such a cheer, Xiao Yan smiled, then gently pressed his palm, and his gaze slowly swept over the faces of the alchemists in the pill hall, and finally stayed on Lu Chong and Wu Zhen. At this time, the two's expressions were a bit unnatural, and they dared not look at Xiao Yan. This time to the pill hall to refine the pill is just one of them. The pill hall is a part of the Yan Alliance, and there is no difference in rank with other halls. However, over the years, some people have become arrogant and self-important, disregarding the Yan Alliance, acting alone and causing internal disharmony. This is a great sin of the Alliance. Xiao Yan's face gradually became indifferent, and his cold drink echoed in everyone's ears. I have a list here, which is written with the crimes of each person. Xiao Yan clenched his palm. A scroll appeared in his hand, and then threw it to Kai Lin and said in a deep voice, "Read it out." Kai Lin read, "The first part of the pill hall, who did not listen to the command, arrogant and self-important, delayed the delivery of the pills due to personal matters, resulting in the deaths of hundreds of brothers of the Yan Alliance. The second part of the pill hall, he Yuanming, embezzled the medicinal materials of the Yan Alliance privately, and after being exposed, did not repent, but instead retaliated against the whistleblower. The first part of the pill hall, hearing Kai Lin's name one by one, Some alchemists in the pill hall turned pale. The elders of the pill hall, Lu Chong and Wu Zhan, were arrogant and did not obey the dispatch, secretly selling the pills of the Yin Alliance and embezzling their profits. When Kai Lin's last sentence was coldly spoken, the square suddenly became a sensation, and the faces of Lu Chong and Wu Zhan also turned pale. They did not expect Xiao Yan to dare to deal with them. There are national laws and alliance rules. Punish according to the rules of the Yin Alliance. Xiao Yan said lightly. Lu Chong and Wu Zhan suddenly stood up and shouted angrily, "We are 7th-grade senior alchemists, and our 2 people have made an indispensable contribution to the development of the pill hall. Are you now trying to abandon the bridge after crossing the river?" Xiao Yan said, "Merit does not offset the fault. The Yin Alliance is not a loose mechanism. No one is allowed to break the law. Who cares about your pill hall elder? We don't do it anymore." Then Lu Chong and Wu Zhan sneered and shouted, "Who will leave with us?" At this time, the alchemists in the square looked at each other, and in the end, some confidants and people who were mentioned knew that staying would be unlucky, and they all followed behind the 2. Seeing these people, Lu Chong and Wu Zhan also smiled smugly, looking at Xiao Yan and said, "Alliance leader, there is a place to stay if you don't stay here." Seeing them about to leave, a smile suddenly appeared on Xiao Yan's face, and then he said slowly, "Kai Lin, what punishment should those who betray the alliance receive?" Hearing the words, Kai Lin's lips raised a sneer, "Kill without mercy." Hearing Kai Lin's cold voice, the pace of Lu Chong and others suddenly became stiff. A moment later, the 2 suddenly turned back and said angrily, "Does the Yin Alliance want to kill us all in front of so many people?" Xiao Yan looked at Lu Chong and others coldly, with panic in his eyes, and said lightly, "The Yin Alliance has its own rules. If someone wants to leave the Yin Alliance for some reason, of course, it is possible. But if you make a mistake and want to use this as an excuse to escape punishment, then you are too playful with the Yin Alliance. Over the years, the 2 of you have been domineering and have disrupted the internal order of the Yin Alliance. If you can just leave the Yin Alliance with one sentence, then my Yin Alliance would be as long as someone makes a mistake. Leaving the Yin Alliance can leave safely? Then is there any need for my Yin Alliance to exist?" Hearing Xiao Yan's stern voice, the alchemists on the square all lowered their heads. Over the years, they have indeed been arrogant, and now being reprimanded by Xiao Yan like this, they suddenly broke out in a cold sweat. And Lu Chong and Wu Zhan felt the cold gaze of the members of the Yin Alliance around, and their hearts were a bit flustered. The development of things was completely unexpected. Originally, with their status as 2 7th-grade senior alchemists, they would be respected wherever they went, but they didn't expect Xiao Yan to be so impolite now. "What do you want in the end?" Lu Chong gritted his teeth and asked. "It's not what I want, it's what the alliance rules stipulate. I will do so," Xiao Yan said lightly. "Take them down," Kai Lin said coldly. When the order was heard, the almighty members of the Yin Alliance who were ready surrounded Lu Chong and Wu Zhan. "Do you really think we are afraid of you?" At this moment, Lu Chong and the 2 were flustered in their hearts, then shouted angrily. The fighting spirit in their bodies suddenly burst out, forcibly shaking off the several strong members of the Yin Alliance beside them, and their figures flashed into a light and shadow, trying to escape far away. Xiao Yan's eyes flashed a sneer, reached out and grasped, and the space instantly solidified. The figures of Lu Chong and Wu Zhan were also trapped in it, and then Xiao Yan casually threw them to the ground and fell heavily. Then Xiao Yan waved his sleeves, and the strong members of the Yin Alliance quickly captured them and dragged them directly into the depths of the pill hall. As for the others who intended to betray the alliance, they were also dragged in. At this time, the square fell into silence, and the alchemists of the pill hall were all soaked in cold sweat, and no one dared to speak. Xiao Yan suddenly said, "As the head of the pill hall, you also have an inescapable responsibility for this. From today on, you will be demoted to the deputy head, and Master Fa Ma will become the new head of the pill hall." Hearing this, Gu He and Fa Ma both agreed respectfully. Xiao Yan continued, "There are punishments, of course, there are also rewards. Over the years, the development of the pill hall has not been small. This is an ancient scripture for cultivating the soul, which can help alchemists break through to the 8th grade. All alchemists above the 7th grade in the pill hall can get it after making certain contributions. Other people with lower levels can also get a part of it after making contributions to the Yin Alliance. Cultivating the soul can speed up your alchemy level promotion speed. I hope everyone will practice diligently. Xiao Yan's voice fell, and he flicked his finger, and several scrolls flew towards Fa Ma and Gu He. This is the ancient scripture for cultivating the soul. There were many alchemists present, including some who did not belong to the Yin Alliance. But when they heard Xiao Yan's words, their faces all showed an unbelievable expression. They knew how important the power of the soul was to alchemists, but they had never heard of cultivating the soul. At this moment, everyone's eyes became hot, and they didn't expect to join the pill hall to have such benefits. It seems that they have to find an opportunity to join in. The alchemists on the scene enviously looked at Gu He and Fa Ma, but their hearts surged with some thoughts. Seeing the square suddenly become extremely hot, Kai Lin breathed a sigh of relief. She was worried that the severe punishment of Lu Chong and others would make others fear and stay away from the Yin Alliance. But she didn't expect Xiao Yan to cleverly use incentives and punishments to make these arrogant people submit, and even Gu He and others were also full of gratitude in their hearts. This guy has become more mature over the years. Kai Lin turned her head and looked at Xiao Yan and said in a low voice. After solving the problems of the Lion Abyss sect and the Pill Hall, Xiao Yan became a bit idle in the following time. Although the Yin Alliance is large in scale, under the management of Kai Lin, Xiao Ding and others, it has been quite perfect over the years. They will properly arrange the affairs after the war, and there is no need for Xiao Yan to intervene. He also felt very relaxed about this situation, and enjoyed the feeling of being a father with Xiao Xiao alone. During this time, Xiao Yan used his spare time to launch the space wormhole scroll given to him by Yao Lao. The Xinhuang fortress is not far from the Jia Ma Empire, and it is a very important stronghold, so the space wormhole to the Star Meteor Pavilion is also connected here. No matter which side encounters trouble, both sides can quickly help each other. During this period, Xiao Yan also received some information about the development of the Yin Alliance, which surprised him. The Xiaomen established by his second brother Xiaoli had been incorporated into the Yin Alliance a few years ago, becoming one of its expansion points. With the help of the Yin Alliance and the Pan's Gate established by Xiao Yin in the inner courtyard, Xiaomen has also developed rapidly over the years and is expected to become a real giant in the Black Corner domain. During this period, Xiao Yin and Kai Lin held a simple wedding under the auspices of Xiao Ding and Xiao Li. The wedding was not grand. Only Xiao Ding and Xiao Li attended. However, the so-called elder brother is like a father. Having Xiao Ding and Xiao Li present is also a kind of grandness. No matter what Kai Lin has done for the Xiao family and the Yin Alliance over the years is enough to make Xiao Yin feel guilty, and this name must be given to her. I didn't expect that our Xiao family actually has such a background. In the courtyard, when Xiao Yin detailed the things about the Xiao family, the faces of Xiao Ding and Xiao Li showed surprise. Obviously, they did not expect the Xiao family, which only had some reputation in Wutan City, to be one of the 8 ancient clans, the Xiao family. Xiao Yin said, "Second brother, this is a secret method. You can cultivate according to it, and some excellent family members can also be passed on to them." After giving the Skyfire 3 mysterious changes to Xiao Li, Xiao Yin continued. Now the situation of the Yin Alliance is basically stable, and I can't help with other things, so I will go back to Central Plains again in 2 days. Is it so fast? Hehe. Now the space wormhole between the Yin Alliance and the Star Meteor Pavilion has been built, and it will not take too long to travel between the 2 places in the future. If you have time, you can also go and have a look, Xiao Yan said with a smile. According to the time calculation, the so-called space trade fair should be about to start, and he must hurry there as soon as possible. After all, the pure lotus demon flame is very important to him. Are you leaving the day after tomorrow? When Kai Lin heard this, she also pulled Xiao Xiao and came over to ask. Xiao Yan chuckled. I regard Yao Lao as my father. Now you are my wife, and naturally, I should go to see him. In addition, we should also take Xiao Xiao to the Falling Star Pavilion, which is the safest place, and she can also receive the teacher's guidance. Hearing this, although Kai Lin was reluctant, she still nodded, knowing that Xiao Yin was doing this for Xiao Zhao's sake. After completing these arrangements, Xiao Yin also smiled slightly. He looked up at the direction of the space wormhole, and his heart was full of expectation.